But yeah, we just do what we want to do, what we can do, and I fit it in because it's for me. It's not my full-time job. I'm actually in computers. That's what pays the bills, and music's a hobby really for me. So I kind of squeeze it in amongst everything else. But I've been quite fortunate, and I've had the last 2 years. I stepped away from my IT job and stepped away from the office, and I sort of said to them they could call me when they had work for me to do, and I would do whatever work they wanted, but not from the office. So I've had 2 years to really concentrate on my music, which it's been amazing. It's really been amazing 2 years. I've learned a lot.
Oh, yeah, well, when you have the chance to concentrate on something, especially when it's something that you love. I mean, when I talk to people that, musicians, authors, comedians, whatever, these are people that I refer to as creative minds. And with creative minds, you have to stay busy, otherwise you go nuts.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, when I was younger, I used to draw, and I was really good. Arthritis set into my fingers, and I can't draw anymore because of it.
What a pity.
I had to find different outlets other than drawing, because that's what I would do for basically days, sitting at the kitchen table working on something, drawing, painting, stuff like that. And then for the longest time, I didn't have really anything else other than do, so I focused on work.
Yeah.
And I was working 16, 18 hours a day.
Oh.
Which, very unhealthy to do that. But my paychecks were good.
That's right.
Don't get me wrong, the paychecks were great, but it's very, very unhealthy to do that. And I suffered the consequences physically because of basically working that much with heavy jobs.
Yeah.
But once again, that's going back to the creative mind and having to keep it occupied.
So is running a internet radio station less or more stressful and taxing than your full-time job, would you say?
It's got its ups and downs. It's really, I love it. It's something that I found that I absolutely love, that I want to do for the rest of my life. So it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm getting people out there like yourself, Joanne Cooper, and a few other people, like I'm gonna mention a few other people like Michaela King and Shane Layton and Mac Perry, Neil and Adam and Goddess. Getting these wonderful people out there and getting them heard, it's very rewarding for me.
Yeah, and you're right. It is something that you can do, for the rest of your life. So and that's important. It's important because otherwise we get bored, and then what?
Right, exactly.
I don't think I'm going to be performing music for the rest of my life, but I'm definitely going to be writing music, because that's definitely something I can do. Even when my voice starts getting wobbly and whatever, you can get other people to sing your songs. So for me, it's awesome.
Look at it this way. In the 70s and 80s, the largest songwriters out there was the Bee Gees. They wrote songs for everybody.
Well, Dylan has written over 500 songs, I think, but I think he's slowed down a bit now. But there's lots of people that are still writing. And
how about your children? Do they play guitar, or do they get inspired by you?
Goddess, I have tried, and my daughter sold her electric piano about 3 months ago. I was heartbroken. Oh, wow. It's just something you can't force. My son is interested in anything with a ball, and my daughter's only interested in horses. So there's nothing I can do. And they're both talented, But anyway, I come from a very unmusical family. None of my family played any musical instruments, and I begged and begged and begged to get a guitar. And my mum bought me a guitar when I was 13 years old. She traveled from Zimbabwe, where I was born, down to South Africa, and bought me I remember it was a Washburn nylon string guitar for 150 Rand, which now is $10, I think. US dollars, and she took it back through the border. She smuggled it on her back as if she was a guitarist, and we thought it was quite funny. But she was probably a lot younger than I am now when she did that. So yeah, I mean, you can't force your kids. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Oh,
Now, do you still have your guitar?
No, I don't have that guitar anymore. I don't know what happened to it.
Well, I think it's beautiful that you actually taught yourself how to play guitar. My father plays guitar, and I think it's one of the most beautiful instruments to play. And I will bring all my friends over, and we'll just listen to him play. Now, he couldn't sing. That was the bad part. But he could play, and now he has arthritis just like Daddy Murray. But he still plays. And I think it's so beautiful that you do it, and that you taught yourself is even more beautiful.
Yeah, I did.
Absolutely.
But I never really played the guitar for playing the guitar's sake. So your father, is probably a much better player than I ever hoped to be. I always just wanted to accompany myself singing, and a guitar was a way that I could take my guitar with me to the lake or wherever, and I could accompany myself singing. So that's why I taught myself to play. And yeah, I still battle with the guitar.
Well, I think that still comes, down to creative minds as well. When you was younger, learning how to play the guitar, that was keeping you busy, keeping you occupied, and is something that you fell in love with.
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
did you ever learn how to read music?
Very much so.
I talk to these musicians that never learn how to read music, but they can play the guitar like you wouldn't believe.
You guys still there? Tommy?
Can you hear me? Hello? Anybody here? Well, looks like I've lost some people here. Let's see if I can get them back. I don't know what happened there.
Hello?
Hello? You there, Goddess? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, dear.
Okay, we're going to try to get them back here in a second. I don't know exactly what happened, but we are going to... I'm going to go ahead and play one of Joanne's songs. I Will Always Be Here.
I promise you I will always be here. Though we may not always see things eye to eye, I will hold your hand through the darkest times. I will love you, come what may. Be your rock, I will never turn away. I promise you. I promise you, I will always be here. You must choose the road you will travel, and those you will call friend along the way. You will make your share of wrong turns. I've made some of my own. Just know you can always come back home. I promise you. I promise you, I will always be here. I've tried my best to shelter you. Now I must let you go. To climb
What a great song by Joanne Cooper, I Will Always Be Here, considering that we was just having some Skype issues and not everybody was here. I thought it'd be perfect song to play just for that Skype issue. Y'all back, right?
Yes, we're back. Thanks, Daddy Mo.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Like I said, for some reason, it just seemed like the perfect song to play right at that moment.
Yeah, I will always be here, not at the other end of Skype.
Yeah, well, we was going to play another song here anyway because we've only got like 15 minutes left of the show.
Okay.
So, as a matter of fact, if you want to play another one real quick, you tell me which one you want to play and maybe give us a little bit of background about it.
Okay. I just want to, before I start playing this song, I just want to tell you about I Will Always Be Here. It was one of the first songs I wrote. And I belong to a music community from PG Music, and there's a songwriter on there called Floyd Jane, who is a brilliant songwriter. And I sent him a very rough sketch of this song saying, please help, can you help me? And he molded it into that song in honestly about, I don't know, a couple of hours. And he sent me a backing track. And I sang the vocal in between making dinner and whatever. I sang a vocal and then another one and sent it back to him. And he's American as well. And the next day when I woke up, there was an email with that mix of that song. He had mixed it and produced the whole thing while I was busy sleeping. So yeah, amazing. This was amazing. So that was that song, I Will Always Be Here.
Okay, great. Well, I knew there was a backstory behind that one. So, and sorry I had to play it, the way we had to play it, but I mean, still, you got your story in there too afterward. And everybody loved that song.
No, that's fine. The next song I'm going to sing is a song that I wrote about. I grew up in Zimbabwe in the 1970s, so I'm showing my age a bit here. There was a dreadful bush war in Zimbabwe, and that's just how we grew up in the middle of this war. And I wrote the lyrics to this song called "Beautiful Scars," but I could never do the music for some reason, because usually I battle with the lyrics and not so much the music. And I met a lady by the name of Cheryl Teal via SoundCloud, actually. And she's also a singer-songwriter. And I sent her the lyrics and I said, can you do something with this? Because I can't seem to put a melody to these lyrics. And she wrote the music for this. So it's about growing up in Zimbabwe in the middle of that war. It was Rhodesia in those days. And it's called Beautiful Scars. And it's really just saying that, that war took a huge toll on us. But it's just made us who we are, and we wear our scars, and they're beautiful, and we should just live with them. So here it is. It's called Beautiful Scars.
Great.
Born in 64, 'neath the shadow of a war, fear was written